Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. This weekend, the U.S. House of Representatives finally threw its support behind the deadlocked aid package for Ukraine. Now, the bill moves to the Senate for consideration before finally reaching President Joe Biden's desk. The proposed bill earmarks a total of $60 billion for Ukrainian assistance. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the front line. Over the weekend, Ukrainian military forces launched an attack on the Russian ship Kommuna stationed in the occupied city of Sevastopol. As a result of the strike, the ship has been put out of commission. The Kommuna was a recovery vessel used by Moscow for retrieval operations at the site of the sinking of the Moscow cruisers. It also is the oldest serving Navy ship in the world, launched more than 100 years ago in 1915. Over the past day, Russian forces have focused their attacks on the region of Kharkiv, Kherson, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Sumy. A staggering total of 400 strikes were recorded across these areas. Over the past day, there were 85 skirmishes on the front lines, with Russian forces attacking Ukrainian positions on 6 fronts. But despite the pressure, Ukrainian troops were able to repel all attacks. Now, let's move on to the Middle East. Hezbollah launched 20 rockets into northern Israel, but the attack did not lead to any casualties. In the West Bank, Palestinian fighters conducted at least 15 attacks on Israeli troops and settlements. The IDF, meanwhile, conducted a long multi-day operation in the Nor Shams refugee camp. While Israelis have not published a report on the situation, Palestinian civil defense crews have made a grim discovery within Gaza's Khan Yunis, uncovering a mass grave inside the Nasser medical complex. As of now, 180 bodies have been recovered from the site. Now, this revelation comes shortly after another mass grave was unearthed earlier in the week at the Al-Shifa hospital following a 2-week siege. All right, now strap in for this one because we've got some serious drone action straight from the front lines. In this clip coming up, a drone operator from the 12th Azov Special Purpose Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine says that while hitting Russian personnel is difficult, he relishes the challenge. Cool stuff, but now onto the footage showcasing some masterful hits by the 12th in the turning area. The Russians keep on pushing the Kremlin in the front, but the 12th is not having it. Professionalism at its finest. Let's take a look. Now, strike drones are nothing to be trifled with. In a recent handful of operations, the Ukrainians used them to take out 3 enemy guns, mortar, electric warfare hardware, and even a freshly loaded supply truck, not to mention the Russian infantry hiding out in the fields and basements. Now, this was like something out of an action flick. The Russians better watch out because the Ukrainian operators are only getting better and they won't be holding back.
Your ride's over, Muty. Time to die.
Yeah! 10 секунд до удара. Yeah!
Сюда. Во.
Ну попали сюди, тупо попали. Ну дим є там.
Good news coming in from the front lines near Novomykhailivka. The Ukrainians are really giving those Russian occupiers a beating, and every single day, paratrooper from the 79th Air Assault Brigade are taking out any occupier who stray onto the wrong side of the tracks. The trenches over there look like an open grave, and the Ukrainian Maroon Berets are not slowing down, closer to victory with each passing day. According to fresh intel from the UK, Putin's forces aiming to seize Chasiv Yar in eastern Ukraine are stepping up their bombardment efforts. Putin himself has apparently issued order to take the city by Russia's Victory Day on May 9th. A blast from the past echoing the tactic used in the fight for Avdiivka, where Russian invaders razed the place to the ground inch by inch. The situation is getting tense, folks, and it looks like Putin's doubling down on his aggressive moves. We've got some intense action happening on the outskirts of Peromysky in the Donetsk region, with fighters from the Ukrainian 11th Separate Mechanized Brigade locked in a fierce firefight. It's a greedy showdown with bullets flying and tensions running high. These brave soldiers are holding their ground against the odds, showing the enemy they mean business.
Де він коригуй? Коригуйте! Ти зарядив? Так. Давай. З часу до 2, Льоня, прочесуй. Да, я звідси, бля. Питай влада, чи ще щось бачить. Що там по клену, по цьому?
And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. But for more news update and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.